it's Delilah here with Delilah's Happy Life, and I just wanted to jump on today and kind of share my experiences that I had at Go Wild this year. It was my first year to go. I've never been. I've always wanted to go, but it was just something that financially was not an option for me. I've been wanting to go probably the last 3 or 4 years. And it's just something that could never happen. We just financially could not afford to do that. But this year was in Texas, and I had just finished my master's degree and was able to use the stipend money that I had received from getting that master's to fund this trip. So finally got the chance to go, and I just wanted to share my experiences as a first time goer, as a newbie. Also was able to be a volunteer this year, so kind of break that process down as well. So this time for Go Wild, they offered a pay as you go, like month by month. And I kind of went that option. While I had my stipend and was going to use that, like I went month by month to pay it off just because I needed stipend money for other things as well. So it was like my big reward for finishing grad school. And I was just super excited to go. Husband was not very happy, but that's okay. I just kind of explained like why I was going to go this year and broke down costs because he's a big budget guy, and was like, we're saving money on flight and hotel because I can stay with my sister, and I can drive. It's going to cost me like a quarter tank of gas. It's in Arlington, like it's not far, and if you and Thomas want to go, you can, and y'all can hang out while I'm at the conference. So kind of like made it a little easier, but still not the most excited thing for. He was not super excited for me. So I just kind of started saving money on the side for like extra things like table meet gifts and spending money because I didn't know how much I was going to spend at this event. So kind of just started off that way. And then they had that call for volunteers to open up, and I took that opportunity. I was like, I probably am not going to get it. It's my first time, but they're going to refund half the ticket if you get selected as a volunteer. And I was like, all right, so let's try it. So I filled out the application for volunteer, and kind of just sat and waited. And about that time after I had submitted the application for volunteer, I was going through the Facebook group and someone needed a roommate. And I was like, well, I do have a hotel for 2 days, not the full trip, but a couple of days, just because like plan JAMA, and the first day is always like super stressful. So like maybe this might be a good option. This will cut more costs in half. And so I reached out to this individual and was like, hey, if you still need a roommate, I have a king size bed. Like if you don't want mine sharing, like I'll room with you and we can get a hotel for the night before if you want. And she had like another person tell her like, I've got a room too. So, but she never heard back. So she became roommates, and her name's Kelly from Kelly and Crafts. You probably know her if you've gone to Go Wild as a karaoke queen. And she was just instantly seemed like my kind of people. Like we hit it off. We had a lot in common. So I was just really excited to have a roommate and experience this with someone who's been multiple times and could tell me like the ins and outs of doing stuff. So after that, I was able to cut even more costs with the hotel, and then got the volunteer. So I like already was saving so much more money. So my husband felt a little bit better about me going, except for the fact that my father-in-law was super sick, and he got diagnosed with cancer gastric cancer last June. And we didn't know how much time we were going to have with him. It all kind of was a whirlwind of emotions and feelings and things like that. So he got diagnosed in June, and then he made it to the holidays, and even his doctor was like, I didn't think you were going to be here for Thanksgiving or for Christmas. And at that point, most of the cancer in his stomach had it was gone. His treatment had been working. And then we were just excited to have all this time with him. And then February hit, and he had a seizure at work, and we work at the same place, at the same college. And that kind of was the start of the end. And he ended up catching pneumonia after spring break, and also the seizure was due to a cause of cancer in his spinal fluid. So yeah, in hindsight now, it was the beginning of the end earlier this year, and it was about the time that everything with Go Wild was really picking up, and I almost didn't go. The day that I was leaving for Go Wild, he got admitted to hospice. Probably the worst day of my life, and that's all I'm going to say about it. But my mother-in-law and my sister-in-law and my husband were like, you've been looking forward to it, you've got to go, he would want you to go. And with all the guilt in the world on my back, like I ended up going, and I was really glad that I did, because I needed that emotional break. Like, I needed to not think about it. You know, the doctor said we had a little bit more time with him, so I went knowing that he was hopefully still going to be there when I got back. So I'm glad that I did, because he ended up passing the day after I got back from Go Wild. So the two will always be tied together, but now we're just going to talk about the happy things. You know, we're going to talk about Go Wild. And I was, you know, under strict orders from my husband that if I was going, that I had to give Martha Stewart his phone number. And I'll talk about it later, but Martha's tied in this. So I was super depressed that first day, but I had an early morning shift for volunteering at 8 a.m. And I was like, just get in there on Thursday and just go and meet people and have fun. And immediately I met 3 awesome women, Jennifer, Giselle, and Elsie. Like, we clicked. We talked about Taylor Swift. We talked about like all sorts of stuff, and instantly made 3 brand new friends. And at this point, I still hadn't met my roommate yet, like in person. We talked on Messenger and through texts and stuff like that, but hadn't actually met her yet. So these were the first 3 people that I met at the conference and like instantly had a connection with. So we started working, doing heavy work. Like, my advice, if you ever decide to become a volunteer, know that you're going to work. You are going to earn every piece of that half-off ticket by working. I think that first day I had like 22,000 steps on one day. So I had a shift from 8 to 12. Then I had lunch with my sister who lives in Arlington. I had stayed with her Wednesday night at her apartment in Fort Worth, and she met up with me, and by that time Kelly had gotten there, and we had lunch at Cut and Bourbon at Live by Lowe's, and it was delicious, fantastic steaks. If you ever are in that area again, like, go and eat there. A little pricey, but definitely worth it. And then after that, we kind of hit up the planner fair. I got all of the pictures. I'm gonna pop some in and out of this video, but and then I started seeing like a lot of Instagram friends, like the people that I've been talking to for the past 3 or 4 years since I started my Instagram planner content, whatever. And it was so cool to finally just like see them in person and hug their neck and just talk about life in general. You know, we follow each other's lives on Instagram. So like, hey, how's your boy doing? Like, how's so and so going? So it was just cool to be able to do that. And that, I think, was the best thing about the whole conference, was just getting to see those people that you interact with all the time and getting to see them face to face and like making that connection. That day I also was supposed to go help Marielle set up Heather Keleva plan tables for the conference, and bless the Lowe's staff, because they were just working hard, but that conference hall was not ready at all. And so I just kind of had like a lot of extra time until, you know, that next evening shift. I did have like a 6 to 10 shift that evening, so I missed the welcome party entirely. I'm really bummed about that. That's the other thing about being a volunteer that you might want to know going into it. You might miss events that you really want to go to, but you got to fill out that availability based off of when you're available, right? So if you're gonna apply to be a volunteer and want to get selected, you're gonna have to have pretty open availability, which means you miss stuff. They might not I think they might not select people whose availability is just super limited. So I did miss the welcome party. I was a little bummed about that. But that night I did work, and I put together so many tables. I put like 5 zebra tables. I put a couple of Chrissy Ann Designs tables together, several Erin Condren tables. Like, the tables that were so beautifully put together were mostly done by the sponsors, but there was a lot of tables that still needed help. So I was just jumping in there. Like, that's my personality. I'm gonna get in there, I'm gonna go, and I'm gonna do it. But it also gave me an opportunity to scout tables. So I was able to like see them in advance, see kind of like what I had my eye on, and maybe what I wanted to sit at the next day. Because as a volunteer, you do get to go in there early. We started our next day's shift at 5:30 in the morning. Like, we had to report at 5:30 and be there. And because I had put so many tables together, I was able to see like kind of where I wanted to sit. And I really wanted an Archer and Olive table. I didn't want to sit at Happy Planner because I had so much. I didn't want to sit at Keleva Plan because I am an affiliate for her, and I do get a lot of, I do buy a lot of her product already, and I already had a lot of the products she had on the table. So I wanted to let other people who haven't used Keleva Plan products to get that opportunity. So I really wanted to sit at Archer and Olive, and I knew exactly what table I was going to go like beeline for whenever they gave us the go ahead to go put our signs on our tables. And then that didn't work. All of them were gone and they were taken. So I had to kind of shop around last minute for another table, and I landed on a Notique table, and I was like still super bummed that I didn't get Archer and Olive, but like getting that table, like the more I sat there and stared at my table, like I was super pumped. Like, you know, when people talk about Go Wild, they like talk about all of the swag and everything that's on that table. Sometimes you got to think about the value of what you're getting too. So like my table, my Notique table, had this gorgeous bag. Look at how beautiful it is. And y'all, when am I ever gonna buy myself a $200 bag? Never gonna buy it. It came with this this little key, like card holder. I'm actually using it for work because we have like access cards, so I'm using that for work. And then I did find a matching wallet on their website. We're not gonna talk about how much I spent on that, but I got a $200 bag for free, and it came with a notepad, like a weekly notepad. And I took that to work already, and it's already there, but so it's not here. But so happy with that table. And by the time that like people were sitting down and everybody was so excited, I was like, I was happy with it. Like, I was super happy to sit there. And then I actually, perks of volunteering again, got to meet VJ after she had presented on day one. And y'all, she's phenomenal. She's so cool. She's so nice. I mentioned this in my memory keeper video that I posted earlier this week, that she smells so good. Like, her perfume or whatever scent she was wearing lingered on me for an hour after I like had hugged her and taken a picture with her. So that was really cool to just see her backstage hanging around, and was able to snap a quick picture with her and talk to her and have a quick conversation with her, just in between stuff. And then, of course, day one was Martha. My husband is a huge Martha Stewart fan, like major Martha Stewart fan. And I knew that my only opportunity to talk to her was going to be to ask a question. So I like patiently sat there with my hand in the air, like straight up. Like, hey, pick me. So I sat there and waited, and they finally came up to me and were like, oh, what question do you have for Martha? And I was like, I want to know what pen she uses. And I had it worded perfectly. It's like, in a room full of people who guard their pens more than they guard their car keys, what kind of pen do you use? And literally, as I had finished telling the other Go Wild person that was holding the mic, like, somebody asked that question, and I was like, I don't know. What do I ask? What do I ask? What would you ask her? Like, well, they already asked what I would ask. And I was like, has anybody asked what planner she uses? And she's like, I don't think so. So I like changed my question, and when I say I was nervous, I was like shaking, holding the microphone. I was like, I don't get nervous talking in front of people. I don't. I was a recruiter for years at the college I work at. I am very comfortable talking in front of people. But talking to Martha Stewart, my table was at the very back at the aisle. So I was able to just like completely sidestep into the aisle and made like direct line of vision contact with Martha Stewart and ask her what kind of planner she uses. And shockingly, she uses a regular old giant monthly at a glance, and it's a monthly view, and then she has like a weekly list of people that are like off and when people aren't going to be at her house and stuff like that. So that was very surreal. I was not able to give her my husband's phone number, obviously, but it was still really cool to actually just talk to her and ask her a question. Like, can't believe I did that. And then after that, we had the end of the day approach, and then I was able to go eat lunch with Heather from Kello Plan and Marielle. And like, quick backstory, I kind of, and I hope Heather feels the same way, consider Heather a friend now. Ran an errand for her years ago to pick up a dollhouse, and met her really briefly, like in person, for that quick time. And then we just kind of kept in contact after that through Instagram, and was there when she launched Kelva Plan, like super excited for her, and always push her products to people that I work with and that I interact with daily. And we were briefly, like briefest of flashes, pregnant at the same time. She had her firstborn the same year I had my firstborn. So just connected in a lot of different ways, and just definitely consider her a friend. Very blessed by her friendship. So I was just really excited to get to like eat lunch with her for a little while, and just hang out and talk. So that was really nice to do. And we did a fun crop. We got some cool new markers that have never been released. And then by the end of the day, like, went to the room and passed out. So tired. did not stay up long after that. We didn't have to be there early the next day on Saturday. It was still 6:30, so we had an hour sleep in. And I just picked a random table to sit at and just kind of waited for people to start showing up. And then Heather got in early that morning to the tables and was like, "Are you at this table today? Do you mind if I sit here?" I was like, "No, I don't mind at all." She's like, "Well, I need all the chairs." And I was like, "Okay." So I'm like stacking stuff in front of the chairs so that people don't sit there randomly. And she had saved spots for, like her her planner people that she hangs out with, which turns out is like planner people that I've looked up to for a really long time. So it was kind of cool to sit at a table with Mary Ellen from Planning with Bumble, Natasha from La Casa de Natasha, Christopher from Plan Your Truth, Katie from Fake It Till You Make It, Marielle, Mom and a Girl with Plans, and Heather. And then Heather's sister was there. And then at one point, her husband, Matthew, also showed up for some of the sessions. And I don't want to be like starstruck and weird, but it was cool. I had already like put out my bags, like my little table mate gift bags, and they had snacks and a pen and this cute pouch that I had lettered and my friend helped me put together. And I had a plan to sit with normal people and thought, hey, maybe like a stickers de-stash is a good idea. Like I'll give out these old sticker books that I haven't touched in years, or there's like 2 stickers missing and it just wasn't my thing. And gave that out in my bags. And when I was like, you guys, I didn't know I was gonna sit with you guys. You probably have them, probably don't even like them. Do what you will. You can throw them away or give them to somebody else randomly. You are not going to hurt my feelings. And they were still super appreciative of it. They loved the snacks, which was great. And then we just kind of went through the day. Like that day, I also walked a lot of steps, just going back and forth. I did have to step out during the post-secret session because it just got kind of heavy with everything that'd been going on. Like I didn't want to cry in front of a bunch of people. So by the time the sessions were over and the day was done, I had one more 3 to 5 volunteer session, a couple of hours worth, and we worked that section. We did no-go boxes for those that wanted to purchase a no-go box from Go Wild later. We packed them full, like 85 boxes. But somebody had said, if this will help the people who are working tomorrow on Sunday not have so much to do. And I was like, let's go, guys, let's go, because I had a shift to work the next day too. So I was just really appreciative of everybody that worked that shift with me, because we worked super hard to get all of that stuff in those boxes. And then went back to my room and got ready for Play and Jamma. And Play and Jamma was so much fun. I had the best time. In typical D fashion, I was double fisting all night. I had 2 drinks in my hand. That's just how I roll. When I'm in that kind of setting, I'm not a big party person anymore, but like, I don't like having an empty drink. I just don't. So, did lots of dancing and singing, and I hung out with my roommate, Kelly, and Jennifer, one of the volunteers. And we just had the best time. It was so much fun. Lots of really good memories with a lot of really fun people. And then another volunteer perk, we had a special bar that only volunteers with green lanyards could hit up. So that was really, really good for volunteers. We didn't have to wait in lines, even though I don't think I went to like a regular line and there wasn't like too much of a line there. Like they were pretty staffed. So like while it was a good perk, it was upstairs, and who wants to go upstairs? But again, good perk. So on Sunday, I saw Kelly off. She had a really early flight, and then kind of just packed my things away and put them in my car because I did have to work my last volunteer shift from 10 to 2. And since we were able to do so much the day before, we ran out of things to do, and kind of got a little bit of an early release on that. So yeah, overall, if you're ever thinking about going to Go Wild and you're able to financially afford it, do it. It's such a fun experience to go and be in a room full of people that love paper and pens and planners and stickers and just have that same enthusiasm about it that you do. Because yeah, I'm sure that like me, like everybody in my life, in my immediate life, is like, ugh, there she is with her paper stickers, and grown adult with her planners and pens and stickers. And it was just fun to be in that atmosphere. And if you're looking for a more cost-effective option, I try to volunteer. It is a lot of work, and you're gonna be working sometimes with people who are maybe not as enthusiastic about doing it, and some people who are too enthusiastic. Again, I always wanted to be doing something because like I wanted to earn my keep. Again, that's just me as a person. But I had such a good time like on both sides of doing it. Definitely lots of pros and cons to the volunteering aspect of it. I don't know that I would do it again. I think I've clocked in like over 75,000 steps over Thursday through Sunday. So just know that you're gonna walk a lot. If it's like a physical thing, like maybe not for you. Yeah, yes, there's perks, but just keep your physical conditions in mind. I did run into somebody at the crop that was like, we were just kind of talking, and I was like, yeah, it's my first Go Wild. And then she was like, oh, and your first time volunteer? I was like, yeah, like I was super excited. And she was like, I've applied to be a volunteer 3 times and I've gone to 6 Go Wild and I've never been picked. And I was like, I'm sorry, like I didn't know what to say. Like I don't know what their process is for picking volunteers, but I know that a lot of it has to do with your availability and what days you can be there. And they also have to base it off other people's, like they have to make schedules because you have to work 15 hours. And if your availability doesn't line up, then you're just not going to get picked. And I'm like, sorry, but I felt really bad for, for saying that out or letting that person know that I was a first time goer and a first time volunteer. But I don't make the schedules. I don't pick the volunteers. Like I was just lucky enough to be selected. You do get a lot of behind the scenes action, and so that's pretty fun. But next time, I think if I do go again, I think I'm just gonna go as a regular attendee and tough it out like with the rest of everybody else trying to get in on that first day for a table. I did it. I enjoyed it for the most part. Just don't think I'd do it again. But Go Wild is something I definitely do want to do again. I don't know when I'll go again. A lot of different things are going to have to shake out for me to even say, yes, I'm going this next year. But it might be a couple years before I go again. So with that being said, those were my experiences. I hope that you enjoyed this video, and if you have more questions, like let me know in the comments and I'll try to respond. So this is going to be like the first video back to me being a content creator. I kind of stopped that, and now I'm like more in a much better place to be doing this kind of stuff. So yeah, if you want to see more from me, here's the YouTube spiel, I think is weird to say. Hit the like and subscribe button, and I will see you guys soon. Bye.